Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Threlkill alongside Josh Kaczynski. This is episode number 2 of Two Dudes at a Bar. Josh, how you doing today?
Great.
First thing we want to mention, Two Dudes at a Bar is brought to you by Hickory Shaft Bistro, Calabash, North Carolina, located in the beautiful Brunswick Plantation Resort and Golf. It's a great day outside. You know, really wish we were out playing, but I think it's time we just get in and talk about some golf here. One thing kind of struck me as we were, as I was coming up on today, I got my article and I was like, Annika and the father-son. Myrtle Beach area, we have a father-son down here. Mm-hmm. And it's very simple, or a lot the same way. We're used to fathers, daughters. There's so many different fields because, father-son, this day and age is, it's incorrect, politically incorrect.
Right.
As it should be.
Right. It just gives it a name for a sibling, or not a sibling, but a younger person playing with an older person in the family.
Why reinvent the wheel when everyone knows a father-son term is an adult and a child?
I guess that's the way I was looking to explain it, but yes.
Yeah. So why reinvent the wheel? But, here we are in 2019. Good God.
You missed a year?
Have a drink, Scott.
No kidding. I guess this is why we're called Two Dudes at a Bar.
But Annika is going to become the first female to play in the PNC Father-Son Tournament. That's going to be down in Orlando, December 7th and 8th at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club. Now, she's going to play with her father, Tom, but my question is, are 2019 and this just now happening?
I mean, if you look at the world of golf, everyone knows women have had a certain spot in the sport, whether it's being not allowed in certain clubs or not being able to go into clubhouses. And the world is changing to have women be able to play at certain places. I mean, even if you look at Augusta, how long it took for a woman to get in membership there.
I'm so happy for that, for the women's amateur and all that. That's fantastic.
So it's changing. I mean, Annika broke barriers back in 2013 where she played in the Colonia Invitational. I mean, so it was there. It's just, I guess, now taking a while. But is there really any other women that has the presence as Annika?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we do know Susie Whaley, qualified.
Right.
She definitely did it, not on victories, not on anything. She went about it the same way you or I would go about it and qualified.
I guess Michelle Wee would have been the only other person if all the injuries didn't happen that could have potentially been like Annika. Just where she was when she was 16. She also played in the PGA Tour event. I think she could have been in the same category as Annika if those injuries just didn't derail her much.
You're right, but one thing I point out with her is, with Michelle Wee, that is, young age, tried to swing like Tiger. I would imagine anybody smart enough to realize they could see Tiger swing and say, that's not going to hold up for a long period of time.
Coming from his surgeries, obviously, now we know that.
Well, yeah, but even back then, the amount of torque, great swing, you revolutionized golf. But how long can you physically swing that way without knees, back, without some kind of issue with the twisting, and all that pressure you're putting on joints?
He learned, obviously, he adapted, went through the surgeries, finally had his spine fused together. He did it. Michelle Wee, again, she took this whole year off. Those injuries definitely derailed her from having the career that Annika had. 90 total wins, 72 of those on the LPGA, 10 majors.
She gets to be the first female to play in men's events twice.
Right. 8 players of the year. She won $22 million in a sport that doesn't have as big of purses as the men's games.
That's impressive.
She has $2 million more than the closest person to her, and she played in 149 fewer events. How is there?
Could you imagine if she didn't want to start the family and and move on.
And I guess that's what the women's game that happens is they want to start families, so they do have to take the time off. She obviously had the
Lorena Ochoa.
right.
She was in her, upper 20s?
Yeah.
I think she was 29, I may be mistaken, but I want to say she was right around 29 and just up and said, I'm done.
And I guess that's what's happening now. You're seeing Stacey Lewis did it. Brittany Lincecum's now having a baby or already had the baby. Not too sure. And that's, I guess, the downfall of women's sports is if they want to have a family, they have to step away from their careers. Obviously, you're hoping that they have the careers that Annika had to begin with, that they can do that and be like, I'm done. What do I have left to do?
I'll tell you what, when you say it like that, it has to bring a whole new appreciation to the fact that, as men, we're not forced to step away from anything.
No, but again, society tells you you're the backbone of the family, so why, right? You look at all these professional athletes, they only have to step away, men being that is 3 days while the baby's born.
Tell me men are the backbone, and I'm known as Jamie's husband. So.
Well, I mean, we're not going to get into personal backgrounds on ourselves because, yes, I know who wears the pants in our relationship too. We're going to leave that at home. That's where it's going to stay. But I get it. Annika definitely has broken the barriers for women's golf, and hopefully it starts breaking it to where more women, I don't want to get too off topic, but you look at Carly Lord potentially going to play in the NFL as a kicker.
I'm excited. I want to see that.
It's happening, and you can't do it without someone being the first to do it and breaking those barriers, and I think Annika definitely did it for golf.
Well, I'm glad she's getting the opportunity to do it again. Again, this episode is brought to you by the Hickory Shaft Bistro at Brunswick Plantation Resort and Golf. Not only do we have a full restaurant, they've got golf packages, 27-hole golf facility, everything you could possibly need, all in Little Calabash, North Carolina. President's Cup. So we're coming up next Wednesday, the 6th of November. They've got to make their picks.
Yep. I mean, everyone knows the records between the U.S. and the international in the President's Cup. Is a change needed to be happening in order to make this closer in competition? I mean, if you look at the teams, obviously with the picks that are coming up, you look at the U.S. team, just to name the first 4 picks that qualified, first people that qualified on points: Brooks, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Cantlay. Okay?
That's a kid who's on fire.
Now you go over to the international side, the same top 4 players: Mark Leishman, Hideki Matsuyama, Louis Oosthuizen, and Adam Scott. Not to pick on those guys, but what have they won recently?
Hideki got second at Zozo.
Okay, so you're looking at the quality of players that are coming out of the U.S. I get they play every year in either the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup, and then you got the international team that's every other year. I mean, the Ryder Cup, we can't beat Europe. We go up against the rest of the world, and we can beat them hands down. So you go into the picks that they're going to be making. Is this the time that Tiger has the chance to pick someone that needs to break into for preparation for the Ryder Cup?
My thing is, I think a change needs to be made. I don't know the answer and what change that is, because obviously you can't have a President's Cup, add Europeans to it, because then what's the Ryder Cup?
You're looking at what, USA versus rest of the world? But isn't that what the Olympics technically kind of is?
That in our eyes it is.
Now that it's back in the world of sports and now it's back in the Olympics, that's kind of what it breaks down to.
Yeah, I guess I'm not totally against it. I think you would gain traction. I think you'd gain viewers. I think there's a lot of positives that would come from that.
But isn't it just going to end up being the same people?
Well, this is the thing. Every year, it's more than likely going to be the same. You would almost have to change how the point standings are done, because I'm not going to say Mark Leishman's not a great golfer. I'm not Adam Scott. He's been around, for so long, been so good.
Right.
But I guess my fear is if you do rest of the world, are the Europeans that much better than the rest of the world that the rest of the world's going to get represented by 1 or 2 people versus half and half?
Well, I guess the thing is if you look at the international team, they have almost 2 years to accrue their points to qualify for the team. USA has the year because they do the Ryder Cup. Someone could have been hot at the beginning of it's 2019, so 2017 was the last President's Cup. Someone could have been hot there fallen off the face of the earth, and then they're no longer in the qualification of the team. Whereas the USA, they're taking the hot guys that are there for 11 months out of the year.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's what you want. Anytime you go in a team event like that, you want the hottest guys at the time going into battle for your countries.
And I guess that brings us to Tiger, just won. He's captain of the U.S. team. Does he pick himself?
You know, I'm extremely torn on this because, you know, even with the Ryder Cup, did he not just do it there? You know, he got picked late to go play in the Ryder Cup because he won, completely shit the bed, and
you can't look at this past Ryder Cup because everybody sucked.
I know, but
we got fucking hammered. It's not like it was close. We got destroyed.
No,
so you can't look at this past Ryder Cup and say, yeah, we picked Tiger because he won. He's going to bring the veteran presence to the locker room and all this and that. We got destroyed. And I don't think anybody who was on that team or anyone that else could have been picked, I don't think we were not going to win that Ryder Cup.
No. I think everybody agreed. It was far-fetched. It was a good try. Actually, it wasn't even a good try. It was just that pathetic, really.
I don't think if Tiger is smart. Yes, it's Tiger Woods. He is what he is. Everyone forgets. He's not very good in match play.
No, he's horrible.
So again, why would he want himself? It's the President's Cup. I get it. It's a weaker team you're going up against in the internationals. So he could do it.
If he does it, it's publicity.
It's
straight up publicity.
He's a captain and a playing captain, so that's where you're going to gain the traction.
Yeah, but no, my answer is no. Tiger should not pick himself. I think when we look at these names coming up, each you and I are going to make a pick. We're going to make the 4 picks. You know, only got a couple minutes left, so we'll have to go through a little bit quick. But, you know, I'm going to start off going on the international side. Okay? You know, you've got Jason Day sitting at 9. You got Siwoo Kim sitting down at 16. You know, I think Jason Day should be a lock, and I think he will be. Again, recognition. But he's not playing all that well.
No.
His last year, and even in the Zozo.
Yeah.
Not impressive whatsoever. But he gets picked. So my first pick for the international that Ernie Els makes is Jason Day.
So sticking with the international side, you know, Corey Connors, the Canadian, has been doing top finishes on the PGA Tour to close out the year. It's a name people are starting to hear more and more of. I think I'm going to go with Corey Connors there.
All right, so you and I are going to round out this team together. So I picked Jason Day. You got Corey Connors you're going to add in. You know, I think Sun JM. You know, he's been on a leaderboard. Zozo was fairly impressive. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to round out third spot.
I think that's a strong pick. I think that's what you got to do there. You know, with the 4th pick with Ernie Els, Jazz had the world going crazy in the Masters.
Yeah, but...
And now what? Have you really heard his name again?
No. I've heard of the music before.
You know, I think on is the way you got to go for the 4th pick for Ernie Els there.
All right, we've got on. Now, quickly, we're going to wrap up into the U.S. Wish we had a little bit more time for this. I think after looking at the Zozo, Gary Woodland's got to be one of your picks. You know, late win last year, Zozo, impressive. I picked Gary Woodland.
You know, and I got to go with, you know, what I said yesterday and who I thought was going to win this weekend. I think you got to go Tony Finau as well.
I just like him as a kickstarter. You know, he's a real big jump starter.
He gets the locker room going.
Ricky Fowler, love him.
He just screams America.
He does. I want him on my team for nothing else but to be American.
Yeah, I would go Ricky Fowler. You know,
you better not say anybody named Reed.
I have to. He's Captain America. As much as I said Ricky Fowler screams America, I think you got to go Patrick Reed, Captain America, and round out that team.
Yeah, I hate you. That's just,
I have to do it. The
dude is just, he's freaking annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right. So we've got our picks. That's our second episode, Two Dudes at a Bar, brought to you by Hickory Shaft Bistro, Brunswick Plantation Resort and Golf.